give to the
I
user.
can't extract it out and make it look pretty in Visio for purposes of documentation, but you asked me what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm telling you that you're wrong.
No, he actually does that.
Ajime.
We're getting ready for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, do you have like a head?
Tomorrow he and I are doing the 2-presenter post-con on advanced database design, advanced relational database design.
Oh,
and
can
we
I stay?
agree about 80% of the time and disagree about 20% of the time.
What do y'all disagree on other than that? Come on, let's
You
start a
gotta come
fight.
to the post-
Let's start a fight.
Yeah,
We're
you're the one
leaving,
that said
we're
it,
leaving
I
this
couldn't.
afternoon. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, well, I do tend to do some whiteboard stuff because I need to talk to a client when I'm doing that stuff. But a lot of my stuff, frankly, these days I send them an email with, "Did you bother to look this up on the internet?" Seriously, I spend a lot of time looking up standards and stuff for people. Because usually when I get to a job, something's in place. They're trying to correct it or fix it. And a lot of times it's, guys, well, I'll give you one for the state of Texas in the voter registration project. 2010, the ethnicity codes change in the U.S. Census. Hispanics and Latinos are no longer the same. Thank God I have been wonder-ridden Clorox white all my life and don't have to worry about what kind of
Well, you
hyphenating.
are, right.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, the cufflinks, the whole bit. You think I work for the Christian Broadcasting Network if you didn't know me. But in Texas, in the voter registration
Christians are
database,
white.
you are
I'm not sure. I don't
you're
think so.
white, you're Latino, or you're null.
Nice.
I've never, what language do nulls
No, I
speak?
could see that for sex.
They're actually mute.
Yeah.
There are like 7 classifications for sex now.
Male,
right?
female, and
Oh no, that
There's
depends
male,
on what
female.
stage.
There's male,
Dresses
female,
a man.
and every
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
every
And
little
it's the
stage in
intent
between.
exclusive lock. It's the real killer.
But we're going to get sued based on census data, right? And that's what you do when you do any kind of voter suit. And our data doesn't match the U.S. Census data that's coming. Nobody's got the budget to go back, and I don't know exactly what you do to tell a Latino from a Hispanic, other than self-classification. And all I can think of, it could be worse. England has all of the various Celtic tribes as ethnic groups. So you're Welsh, Scotch, Irish,
oh dear.
etc., on their census system. I mean, ethnicity's strictly a legal construct, country by country. But it's the one you get sued by.
Yeah.
We can prove you don't have enough Hispanic voters. There were too many Latinos in this district, and we want to recount.
Oh, my
I
God.
was reading an article on that just a few days ago on census data. This has nothing to do with databases almost, but how they were changing it. What was that? Was that in some African country where they were changing the classification from where you were born to how you most identify yourself? So it's more of a cultural thing as opposed to your bloodline. And it's like data itself, the way it can be classified. That's a big topic
yeah.
for design too.
Yeah.
Just
In South Africa, you remember the white tribe.
the white tribe.
Yes. And then otherwise, you have a tribal designation that you
I see.
get.
Let's see.
And you can be mixed.
No,
it
white
was
and other.
yeah. I don't know. We're denying that there's a lot of Vietnamese down on the coast of Texas, so their language doesn't show up. It's by the fact there's ISO codes for languages.
Huh.
We put them in a drop down.
So how did that project go, by the way?
The servers crashed for 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
They laid me off. I may come back in January when they get the new budget.
You're going back?
Are you kidding?
It's a gig. It's a bus ride
Are
downtown.
you kidding? I want to see how this comes out.
Yeah.
It's more morbid curiosity at this point. Like driving by a motorcycle rack. I'm just,
Oh, the cute one in there too is with the probably way here, but looking at the address data, there's a thing called CAS from the U.S. Post Office. It's standard formatting for addresses, and it's pretty well defined. There's a lot of commercial packages. There's probably a ton of open source things for formatting. Yet we haven't done that yet. There's a thing called the 911 emergency system,
Sure.
where all the addresses in the U.S. get a standardized address format that matches CAS. There's no more rural delivery stuff. We've still got rural delivery data. We've also got, the state bought a GPS package. What was it, ARC? Got it, the big one. But they said somebody to take a class and they've never used it. So we could be identifying the addresses by coordinates. Now instead we identify by description. We're trying to get the addresses redone. Oh, did I mention the redistricting in 2010? For a state with 254 counties. some of which are just a few thousand people when you get to West Texas, all of which have to be remapped. Oh, that's going to be fun without a GIS package, isn't it? They got rid of me because what they wanted to do was convert the reports off of Cognos to the Oracle package. They figured getting the reports out and getting rid of the expense of Cognos was more important immediately. And nobody has any idea what's going to happen when the elections come around.
We're going to become Florida.
We're
from
no,
Texas,
well, that's
we have to
funnier
remember.
than you know. Looking at, they bought a generic voter registration package, and one of the tables is all the states in the U.S. with their codes and a bit to indicate which states are involved. Never mind the U.S. doesn't have multi-state elections,
Yes.
except for the national. So at one point, we found out that Florida is actually a county in Texas, according to their data.
Nice.
Good
This
fun.
is probably a surprise to the retirees in Florida. Wahoo.
That may have an impact on the National Football Championship coming up.
The important stuff.
So, okay, here's an interesting question that crosses my mind every now and then, because I know it's happened to me. Have you guys recommended something in one of your books or given a solution that you no longer believe in?
I have a good story for that. I was teaching at a user group on indexing. I get into, what about indexing? This guy goes, I know how to do it because I've got this great solution from your book. And it's like, sorry about that, I was wrong.
Because I don't agree with you on everything.
Yeah. Actually, I found a mistake in one of my older books. I jumped the gun and put in something we were working on in the committee as fact. Well, it didn't make it.
Oh. Well, it was fact at the time.
Well, it was
writing.
sort of, and one of them you actually changed your mind about over the years. Where years ago you would recommend this methodology or solution, and now you're back off of that and you say, well, now it's more. Sometimes you would do something else instead.
Yeah. Have you ever decided that Chris was right about something and you've been?
Well, I'm trying to think.
It's certain keys and lots of
Yeah, no, I take the people get the wrong definition of SIR. We got to keep quoting Cod on it. It's supposed to be handled by the system. It's not supposed to be exposed to anybody.
Right.
You're doing stuff the compiler should be doing. You're doing it by hand, and you're not doing it with a double linked list and stuff that we used to have in the old days, back when I was writing total and IMS.
Never heard of it.
Probably not. It was one of the early pointer-based network. Actually, it was semi-hierarchical. It's a very old database.
Okay.
It ran on dinosaurs. But no, I'm trying to think. Jeez. Well, we're indexing. I'm getting softer in my old age on hashing because all the work that's being done on that. I'm not as when I first got into data warehousing, I was really down on star schemas and stuff. They're denormalized. Yeah. Normalization uber alles. But with the star schema, I just tell people when I'm teaching a data warehouse course, everything I told you about OLTP, reverse it. Turn it completely inside out, change your mindset. Star schema is good. Lots of data, good.
Because I know in one of your standards books, which I really love the book in general, by the way, because if nothing else, it opens up a good discussion point, gives you a place to start when developing your conventions, right? Your naming standards. But I think in there, and it's been a while
That would be
since I've read-
SQL programming style. Yeah.
Yes. You came up with a naming convention for objects so that they could be easily ported across systems,
Yeah.
and I completely disagree with that because I have never ported something from SQL to Oracle to MySQL. I mean, it happens ever. But not often enough to be a big deal. And when it does happen, you've got bigger coding problems than what you've named your columns. You know, I mean, you've got to touch everything. There's no such thing as a
Those
system
naming
that just
conventions
ports.
are not just for the databases. They're for your enterprise-wide data dictionary. And if you've got a consistent scheme, I don't care if it's in COBOL. I'll follow the same naming conventions for COBOL, Fortran, whatever, that I do for the database. I want one name or one data element everywhere in the enterprise. Better yet, I would like it universal. We agree on VIN number for vehicles, right? I mean,
Right.
And I don't. It's not just my database. It's not just anybody else's database. It's the entire world, and we've got a standard standardized name that I can use everywhere.
But talking about portability, it seems to me that corporations who say we're going to have software and we're going to try to make this so it can run on Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, and they want the SQL to just be maybe ad hoc SQL or something that can run on anything, lowest common denominator for the SQL. I think you'd have a better solution. I know companies would never do this, but if they could raise the abstraction layer and say, we're going to have a contract, we're going to have an abstraction layer to the database, and we're going to agree that this is the calls, this is the API.
That's what we maintain, yeah.
And then on the database side of it, have a SQL Server team that builds that out to take advantage of everything SQL Server offers, and have an Oracle team that has an advantage of everything that writes the best you can for Oracle. And then up above, it's a common contract, and you make it portable at that layer instead of the layer of the engine. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, that's funny because I worked I actually got on a W-2 with a company in Austin that does nothing but K-12 software for Texas school systems. And their whole thing for having me there, they had to hire me because the staff doesn't do consultants. So I'm sitting around I got my Christmas bonus for the week I was there in December, which was very nice. And I hung around for about 9 months until the school year started. And their thing was they had to run on whatever the school district had for a platform. There was a lot of Oracle and a lot of DB2, an awful lot of DB2. And they were just starting to see Postgres and SQL Server show up. And one of the districts was talking about MySQL. And my whole thing was to make that code as portable as possible. That's what I was hired for, as well as to teach in-house classes.
But did you have SQL code at the front end just being submitted as ad hoc SQL?
No. Everything went through stored procedures. We had a few weirdnesses because the clients always want to get a generalization of some kind that really we need it. Yeah, been there? And so we'd have these oddball columns, varchar type, such and such wide, stick in whatever you want for your district. And you'd have it was ridiculous. But when you do that, you wind up, you're not maintaining one product. You're maintaining a dozen different products, all slightly different, all starting to drift. And it needs to speak Flemish.
Sure.
And just, you're a small company, you start up, you try to make the customer happy, and then the next customer, and the next customer. And you've got this huge, but it's a big really. Do we need to?
No. I was just actually
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what kind of name is Cellco?
check. There's about 150 of us according to Wikipedia. It originally had a hatchet on the C, so it was pronounced Chelco.
See, I always thought the first several years before I met, I always pronounced it Chelco because.
That was the original.
Okay.
Yeah, one branch of the family knocked the accent mark off, another branch threw the H in. No, it's kind of nice having an unusual name. That way you can do Google alerts and find myself. Usually I'm finding myself being put on a server for illegal downloads.
Was it Joe that I looked up yesterday and he's got his own wiki page?
Yeah, you're on Wiki.
So annoying.
You have your own Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That is just, what, did you write it?
I don't know. Did I get royalties for it?
An incredibly thoughtful and progressive database professional.
God's gift to me.
Yeah,
Kind of small
exactly.
animals.
I didn't check on you guys.
No,
She didn't check on me either.
No, I
I've
didn't.
amended one when I got new publications. Changed my publication credits. I'm a consultant. Can you say shameless self-promotion?
Yeah,
I knew you could.
You know it's
We're-
bad when you're dropping your own name.
Yeah, no, we're starting that too. You know,
Look, isn't
hi,
that
I'm
Joe?
Jen.
like
Muppets Take Manhattan.
No,
Yes.
but that's true too. Talk Soup. No, not Talk Soup.
We'll
It
take
was,
a break here for a moment.
Yeah,
Sean
we'll take a
Penn.
break here. The movie with Whoopi Goldberg and what's her name?
Soap Dish?
Soap Dish. Nobody
What
saw
part of
Soap
that-
Dish?
What part of that was in Soap Dish?
Remember when she was feeling really bad about herself, and so her publicist took her to the mall.
Sally Field was
Yeah,
an
Sally
actress,
Field.
a diva on a soap opera, and Whoopi Goldberg was her sort of manager, her handler. And she was feeling bad about herself, and so she took Sally to the mall.
And then we're on the escalator, and she turns around and goes, "Oh my God, aren't you that girl from the soap opera?"
It's you!
And a crowd ensues.
You should do that. You should get Whoopi Goldberg as your publicist.
Yeah.
That would probably work.
That would work out well, because
You know, I can always see you as a character on Star Trek.
Who am I shooting, eating, or blowing up?
if we've got this, if
Which
the potential,
Star Trek?
Yeah.
yeah.
STNG.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He's got the voice of someone who could be on Star Trek.
I'm inspired. Bad interview question of the day. If you were on Star Trek Next Generation, who would you be?
And he goes, "What the hell is that?"
Well, I suppose Jean-Luc Picard because he drank Earl Grey tea and I'm bald. But that's about it.
That'll do. That'll
So
do.
you're an Earl Grey fan?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, have you been to Tivana and had their Earl Grey creme?
No.
Oh my God, it is
Is that you?
unlike anything.
It's a chain.
It's a chain that we've got one in the Galleria in Dallas, but they've also got online Tivana.com.
Yeah.
Their Earl Grey creme, it's got little flecks of other stuff that I'm not exactly sure. Oh, it will change your view of Earl Grey. It is
It will change
the
your
most
life.
phenomenal. We've been drinking it for like what, 2 years now?
Something like that.
Oh my God, it's phenomenal. Just amazing.
So we've got Picard. I guess we'll have.
I don't recognize anything after.
You don't recognize the original
Is that a
series.
classic?
No.
Okay, fine. Original series.
Kirk, it wouldn't be Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't
who
be?
wouldn't
Yeah,
be
he got
Kirk,
the great
right?
alien chick all the
He
time.
got to go down to the planets. He never got killed.
Yeah, that's what. I'd like to be instant expendable.
I noticed you managed to get your shirt off.
Yeah, well, yes.
He was never called.